Om Shanti, and a very good morning.
Good morning.
Just take a few moments and reflect on everything that we have learned so far and see what has really stood out for me. From the idea of the soul, and seeing how just by changing the consciousness of just the awareness of who I am, everything changes. And by connecting with the Supreme Soul, there's a great amount of power, unlimitedness. And we're learning about the drama in the form of the cycle, swastik, or as a kalpa tree. I become Trikaldarshi. I'm able to serve the world in a very different way. All my questions get answered. And it's so easy to put a full stop. Past is past. What should I do now? So this is, in simple words, the three essential things, the 3 points. The first point, I, the soul. Second point, the Supreme Soul. And the third point, drama. Full stop. What's past is past. And so these are the wonderful 3 essential lessons we can pick up from all that we have learned. There's a beauty about the unlimited Father, the ocean of knowledge, is to simplify things. The most complex, the most complicated things in the world can be just simplified. He's able to go from that expansion to essence, from detail into summary in just one moment. And so that's what Baba has done and given us this fantastic knowledge. And we're also seeing the essence and the importance of learning how this whole work is being done of the Supreme. And that's a brilliant lesson also. And today we're going to focus and we're going to try and see, how does God play his part? How does he really come about explaining all these things to us? A being of light, a point of light, the Supreme Soul, stationed in Paramdham, completely detached, blissful, the seed of this human tree, who never takes birth, never dies, who's beyond all dualities of pain and pleasure, victory, loss, profit, none of those dualities. He doesn't get into them. He doesn't get stuck into this cycle of karma. But still he's called the bestower. Still he's called the innocent Lord. Still he's called the one who is the purifier. Patita Pavan. How did he get all those titles? He definitely has played a part. He definitely has come into this world and he has done his duties. Anybody in the world who has done something receives certain titles. Mahatma Gandhi, we call him the father of the nation. So he has done something for the nation. Otherwise, he would not get the title of the father of the nation. So if we say Param Pita, Paramatma, the Supreme Father, Supreme Soul, Patita Pavan, the one who's a purifier. If we call him Data, Vidhata, Vardata, the one who's the bestower of blessings, the one who's the bestower of fortune, then he has bestowed this fortune to us at one point in time. This time is the time of confluence, Sangamyug. God has his part, his highest, his biggest part that starts in the confluence age. In the golden age and silver age, there's so much of abundance and happiness that there is no role of God to be played there at all. He's not the purifier there. Why? Because everyone is already pure. He doesn't need to bestow anything there. Why? Because there's abundance in Satya, Treta, golden age, silver age. He doesn't have to give any knowledge at that time, because everybody is very naturally soul conscious. So then when does his part really take place? It's now in the confluence age. What about during the copper and iron ages? Because that's when we really started worshipping him and wanting to come closer to him. What did we do then? Well, during those times, we did look out for the Supreme. We did build temples in his name. We did build churches and mosques. We didn't even have his images, a lot of visions of the Supreme. in different forms. Whichever deity I worshipped, I would get a vision of that. But all of that was being granted by the Supreme Soul, Paramatma. But he himself did not come into the world. His promise is that when there's complete deterioration of dharma, that's when I will come. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. So when there's complete degradation, I'll come and establish dharma. What dharma does he establish? The dharma of the deities, Devi Devta Dharam. Devi Devta Dharam, what is the dharma of Devi Devtas? The dharma of giving, the dharma of being full, complete. Sola Kala Sampurna, Sampurna Nirvikari, completely voiceless and bestowing virtues. That is the dharma establishes, that runs for the whole golden age and silver age. And of course, one more, which is right now, when the Supreme Soul, when Baba is coming and he's teaching us what is happening today, as we learn it, we start understanding who we are. We come close to the Supreme. We purify our thoughts. We're constantly trying to have sweet words, and we're also helping others to learn and understand and realize who they are. We're actually playing the role of a Brahmin. So now the Supreme Soul is making us from humans into Brahmins. Because who's a Brahmin really? A Brahmin is a person who is purifying himself as understanding that I'm the soul and I'm becoming pure, having pure thoughts, pure words, pure actions. That's a Brahman. But how did that term Brahman come? So when the Supreme plays his role in the conference age, since he has no normal birth like any other soul would, and that's what distinguishes the Supreme Soul from all others to a large extent, he does not take a normal birth. And so he comes into an existing body and disseminates this knowledge. So which is the body that he chooses? Whichever body the Supreme chooses, that body is the body of Brahma. Because through Brahma, we understand he creates. Creates in the sense? Okay, I'll answer this question, Sunita, that you have, why this cycle takes place. I'll answer that question. Let me just share with you how the role of the Supreme takes place through Brahma. Yeah? So Brahma is none other than an ordinary person, a human being, just as you and me, who the Supreme descends into and then shares this knowledge. Helps us know who we truly are, helps us know who the Supreme is actually in essence. Because there's so many different ways we have started connecting, looking at the Supreme as. And sometimes that can really take me away into a different direction and leaves me longing for the actual connection, for the real one. So he comes into this particular person, the body, and gives us this information. And so whose body does he take? He takes a very ordinary body, the body of a person called Dada Lekhraj. As I said, a very ordinary body. The Supreme does not choose the most intelligent, the most religious, the most pious, the most, like we have so many saints and gurus in the world, people who have very good standing in the society. The Supreme does not. So this person, who we call as Brahma, at one point in time was Lekhraj. As a child, he was Lekho, a very sweet, nice, loving child an honest child. We used to have fun with his people in a place somewhere around right now in Sindh, which is in Pakistan these days, but at that point in time was part of India. So there, Lekhu as a child was very playful, happy, go lucky, a nice child. But at a very early age, he lost his mother, and then he even lost his father. He was then being helped by his brother. But he was a person who was a great donor. He would like to really share whatever was there. And so his brother found that he was not really helping as much in business. So he said, listen, you stop being with me, become more independent. And that's when Lekhu became more independent. He grew up into a very nice businessman, and he started the business of diamonds and a very successful diamond merchant. He got married, he had his children, and he was enjoying a very nice household life. At the same time, he was a very religious person. He was a devotee of Narayan. And he would read the Gita. Wherever he traveled, he'd go with the Gita. And so he would tour around India, usually North India, so Calcutta, he'd be in Bombay, he'd be in Karachi. And he would go and meet with a lot of those. At that time, he had a lot of emperors, empresses, kings, and queens. And he was invited into their kingdoms because they found him as a person who was very trustworthy, very reliable, very honest, very pious. And so when nobody else would be called into the kingdoms, he would actually be called. And they would do business with him, but also they would find that he was a very fine gentleman, had a lot of kingly qualities himself. And so he was appreciated by many of the kings and queens at that time. And so life went on, and he was very successful. He was doing extremely well for himself, and he was very well placed in society as well. Whenever he would be back in his home in Sindh, he would have congregations, and he would call a lot of gurus who would come and share a lot of their knowledge and wisdom. And he'd call all the neighboring people, they'll come and they'll take benefit. One time, suddenly, when he was sitting down in one of these congregations, spiritual congregations, all of a sudden he got up and walked into the room on the side. His daughter-in-law was worried, what is happening? And she went, and this was when he was almost 60 years old. She goes and finds that his son is sitting there in deep contemplation. And all of a sudden, from him, there's a noise, a voice that comes out. Prakasha Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham. Nijananda Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham. Jnana Swarupam Shivoham Shivoham. Which means I am the embodiment of light. I am Shiva. I am the embodiment of bliss. I am Shiva. I am the embodiment of knowledge. I am Shiva. She was surprised, and so was this person, Lekraj, as well. At that time, he used to call, as he was almost 60, they used to call him Dada Lekraj. Respectfully, Dada meant elder brother. And so, wow, what was happening? He himself was surprised, and so was his daughter-in-law. And then slowly, every day, things got more clear to him, his family, and slowly to the neighboring people, that the Supreme would actually come into this body of Brahma, and he had no idea himself, and had a purpose. And that vision came in front of Dada Lekraj when he saw lots of stars coming down from the top onto this earth and suddenly becoming prince and princesses, a very beautiful world. And he would see this old world with all these buildings being destroyed, with all bombs and civil wars and lots of bloodshed. And so the Supreme Soul gave a very clear message that I am now here at this time when this world is going to be destroyed completely. And I'm here to establish this beautiful, pure world of princes and princesses. And you are going to be that medium for me to do my task. So that's when Dada Lekraj knew that he's going to be that medium, that the Supreme is going to do this act. So every day the Supreme would come into this body and would in some way or the other convey to the others who would come in his midst and amongst the meetings and share what was really happening, who they are, what this world is, at what stage are we in, and what we should do really to become ready to go into this new world. And one very beautiful thing was revealed during this whole process. And that was that those deities that we worship is none other than we, our own selves. We are those deities, and the Supreme has come once again to re-establish the deity religion. Who were the deities? We are the deities. Today, the Supreme is moving us from Manushya to Brahmans. So we're becoming Brahmins, and this body who the Supreme has taken is called Brahma. So I come into the body, I'm creating Brahma. Through Brahma, I'm creating all of you Brahmins. You then will become Devtas, deities. And then it's those deities who then will fall. As the time goes by, you become from deities, Devtas, you become Kshatriya, then you become Vaishya, then you itself become Shudra. And from Shudra, I come again and make you Brahmins. So from Shudra to Brahmins, Brahmins to becoming deities again. So that's the cycle. And that's what the Supreme Soul, so the only act the Supreme Soul does, G-O-D, generator. He comes, he creates Brahma, not from scratch. When he say creates, he's actually doing the whole act of creation, where he's moving us from being Shudras into pure Brahmins. That's the creation. And through that, he's creating a beautiful world where we are all going the golden age. So that's the whole aspect of creation. That's why G is generator and then operator. So we are all deities. And that's how the whole operation is taking place. It's a Devta Dharam. And so it's self-regulated. It's taken care of it by itself. Lakshmi and Narayan, two souls. In this time, that's Brahma and Saraswati, who are the top two students in this particular learning that the Supreme has come and giving us. And they become the top two deities, the symbol of perfection, Lakshmi Narayan. Together, Vishnu, Chaturbhuj. So that's the creation that the Supreme is doing. G, O, operating is how well that new world is continuing throughout the ages of the golden and the silver age. And then there's a destruction. G, O, operator, destroyer, G-O-D, destroyer is God. So God, does he really destroy? He doesn't destroy anything. He destroys the darkness and the ignorance. That's happening in the confluence age right now. So obviously, whenever there's an establishment, there's also a destruction. Something old has to finish, something new has to start. So what's the old that is finishing? This old sanskars that we have of the body, that's being destroyed. That's called Ravana. That's the Maya. So that's being destroyed. And the new establishment of the Ram Rajya is being now created. And that will then be sustained by Vishnu, the Chaturbhuj. So if you see, they call Shiv Paramatma is also called Trimurti. Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh or Shankar. Brahma is this human soul, the ordinary body that the Supreme is using to create. Vishnu is Lakshmi Narayan combined, the person perfect, through whom the Supreme is sustaining the new world. And the last word is Mahesh, or also sometimes Shankar, through whom destruction takes place. How does that happen? How does destruction really take place? The moment we all become soul conscious, body consciousness is destroyed. And so if you see Shankar, a lot of the images of Shankar, which is very different from the Shivling that we know, Supreme Soul we worship as, Shankar, and many times they mix up the two. They think it's the same, Shankar and Shiv. But the Supreme comes and helps us understand that Shankar is just a symbolic character, the person who's sitting in meditation with a third eye half open, with the Ganges on the head. These are all symbols of the yogi who's in bliss. So when we are sitting in meditation and we are connected to the Supreme, we have taken the form of the destroyer of all body consciousness, destroyer of all the five vices. That's the symbol of Shankar. So the Supreme is playing these three acts at this point in time. He's operating, he's destroying. At the same time, he's also generating. So that's when we call him this Trimurti, Shiv. And so that's the way he really is trying to operate at this point in time. And it's very nice to see that a lot of what he does has got a lot of memorials around. You see the memorials of the acts of the Supreme in different ways. But we have forgotten the Supreme. So we see the act of Brahma. We know there's Brahma, there's Vishnu, there's Mahesh, and we know the three Murti, but we've forgotten who the Supreme Soul is. We've not really had that connection. And it's very important for us to connect to the Supreme Soul as he is because of the sanskars of the Supreme. If I connect to the Supreme as the being of light who is pure and who's the one who is the bestower of happiness and peace, one who's loving yet detached, I learn those sanskars from him. If I have a misconception of the Supreme and if I start connecting with something else, then I might think of that person having sanskars of anger, having some sanskars of being a little, so we do see some of these deities having a little bit of different, behaviors. And we might pick up those behaviors and think, oh, well, that was how he was. So people have depicted them in different ways. But the fact is that in Satyug Treta Yuga, we have a total of 33 crore souls during that period. Now, of course, we are in, billions. But at that time, we had 33 crore souls. That's why if you see in Bharat, in India, because that's where they all were, in India, they worship 33 crore deities. They say we had 33 crore Devi Devtas. Why? Because that was the number of souls that were actually there during those times, which is why we are now worshipping who we were actually originally. And all the Supreme Soul is coming and doing his reestablishing that. Right. So that's about how the Supreme plays his part in this world, in the corporeal world. He has a very, very clear role, a clear job description. Supreme Soul in the drama enters when there is a lot of corrosion, and then he purifies everything, and then he leaves. Then he's in the soul world. Does he come in the Satyuga and play his part with all of us? No. That's why he's considered the most altruistic server. Nishkam Sevadhari. There's nobody like him. Everybody, like whatever we do today, we share our knowledge, we try and help people, we help establish certain centers, we support people to do some good work. We get the benefit of all of that. But the Supreme Soul does not take any benefit from that. He comes, he plays his part, and he leaves. He doesn't come to this golden age. He doesn't reap those benefits and fruits, which is why he's beyond the acts of karma. He doesn't come into gain and loss. So he doesn't get anything from what he does. He comes, acts, and goes. That's why he retains his completeness always. He's always pure, ever pure. That's the quality of the Supreme. Okay, so what is the difference between Shiv and Shankar? Okay, Shiva, when we speak of Shiv, we're considering Shiv as the Supreme Soul. That's the name we give to the Supreme Soul. Shiv Parampita Paramatma. We say, Shiv Paramatmaye Namaha. But Shankar, we look at more as a symbol, like a subtle deity that we understand is more in our consciousness, but does not really exist at a physical level. So Shankar, if you see all those artifacts and the symbolic things that have been put upon Shankar, is the character of a yogi, of a person who's in meditation, right? The Supreme Soul by himself doesn't have to meditate and worship or pray anybody. But Shankar is normally seen in front of a shivling in remembrance, in penance, in tapasya. For what? If you see around his neck, there is a snake, which is a symbol of vices. It's poisonous. But here's a person, while sitting in meditation, connecting to the Supreme Soul, is able to overcome those vices and does not get affected by those snakes, which are the vices, but makes those vices very friendly. And therefore, if you see what we are doing right now as children of the Supreme Soul, so Shankar can be considered to be the child of the Supreme Soul in that sense. So Shiva is come right now and is teaching us how to become soul conscious. So we, taken on the form of Shankar, we are learning to meditate and to connect with him. And so all those vices, which is a part and parcel of every human right now, becomes friendly with us. We are not afraid of those vices, of those snakes, but we are still holding them in our neck, and we are there. We have the third eye. So when we become soul conscious, there is a third eye that opens. Ordinary people like all of us, but the Supreme Soul has come like the surgeon, and he has operated the third eye and he's opened us up. And so, as I said, the moment you become soul conscious, everything changes for us. The moment we open the third eye, everything we see is very different. The way we look at each other, look at ourselves, the way we look at the whole world, very different. So that's the third eye that is being opened for us. And what is the Ganges that is flowing from the head? Once the Supreme Soul has given us this knowledge, this information of who we are, we love to share this with everybody else. And that is the purifier. They say, Ganga, you go and bathe in the Ganges, you become pure. So the Ganges of the knowledge that God gives us, which is now being shared with everybody. The moment somebody bathes in this knowledge of Ganges, they all become pure as well, because their third eye also is open now, and they also start seeing themselves and others in a very different way. And that's when the purification takes place. There's no more negativity, no more waste. There's purity and purification that takes place of the soul. So this Shankar is basically a symbol of a normal human person who's receiving the knowledge of God, who's connected in tapasya with him, and therefore is able to destroy all evil. And so that's why we call Shankar the destroyer. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Brahma is the creator, but not by himself. The Supreme creates through Brahma, operator. The Supreme is operating through Vishnu, and Shankar, the Supreme, is destroying through Shankar. So that's the symbol of the three deities that we see, and that's the three acts of the Supreme of Shiv Baba. So Shiv Baba, the being of light, is different from Shankar. Now that's why we always say Shiv Ratri, which means the Supreme descends in the night. Night means adharma, yada yada dharmasya. So Shiv Ratri, we never say Shankar Ratri. We never say Mahesh Ratri. It's only Shiv Ratri. So Shankar and Shiv are very different. Yeah, we'll say Shiv Paramatma Namaha. We'll not say Shankar or Mahesh Paramatma. Only Shiv Paramatma. We speak of Shiv Baba, and we speak about him as a Supreme Father. Yeah, Shankar cannot be a Supreme Father. So there's a huge difference in how we also very unconsciously have spoken about Shiv Paramatma and about Shankar. Those are two separate entities altogether. We have to understand the Supreme doesn't have any physical body. And therefore we cannot look at Shankar as a Supreme Soul. So Shankar is a symbol of destruction, is a person in tapasya. I hope that was clear. So why does the cycle take place? The cycle takes place because it's very important for us to know that, Satyug, Kalyug, why do we have to cycle? Now remember that as souls, all of us, are very important for us to come into this world. If we are just going to sit in the Param Dham, we will all have our potential. We will all have our powers. We will all have our purity. We are peaceful, loving, happy, powerful, but we don't have any place to express it. So imagine there are a lot of wonderful actors, okay, the best of actors in this world, but they don't come and do any act on the stage. They don't come and make any movies. They don't come and entertain anybody. You say, what's the use of having such beautiful actors? They are wasting their talent. Why can't they make some movies? Why can't they come and have some stage programs? Why don't they come and do some drama? So we need to have these actors to come and work and perform. So we also souls have got all the beauty in us. It'll be so wasted if you don't come on the stage and play our part. Now, coming on stage and playing our part would be extremely boring if there is no change in terms of seasonalities. If everything was the same throughout the entire world, every time we just had one way, there were no challenges, there was no problems, there was no obstacles, then you'd say, what a boring drama. I mean, you go to any movie and watch. If there was no drama in the movie, if there were no ups and downs, if there were no challenges, you'd say, what's the use of watching this movie? I'm bored. You watch it for 5 minutes and you'd say, no, I think it's enough. I don't think there's any challenge here. There's just, it's absolutely flat. Yeah, you go play any game, any match, football, hockey, cricket, you play tennis, table tennis. If the other side, the opponents, are not going to pose any obstacles, if they're not going to pose any challenge to you, you feel it's, you don't really enjoy. Even if you win the game, you say, I didn't really enjoy because the other side was so weak. It hadn't had any challenge properly. So the way the world is made is so that we have challenges. So we move from Satyug, Treta, Dwapar, Kalyug, and slowly we start seeing challenges coming and introduced into the cycle. And then that challenge really makes us more and more powerful and allows us to bring the best out of ourselves. And so we are constantly having these challenges, we're overcoming them, we're feeling great about ourselves, we're still moving forward, we're pushing. And so all these things are designed in such a way, they are accurately designed because it really fulfills the true potential of human beings, of the soul. And that's why the drama is so accurately designed so that we bring out our best. Good. Any other questions? Okay, so we can sit for some meditation as we close the session today a little early. So let us sit back. Emerge this beautiful feeling of having complete knowledge of everything that's happening around me. I am a Brahman soul, the one who's purifying himself and who's purifying everyone else through the light of the Supreme. Feel the light of the Supreme coming and touching you, the soul, and that light is spreading towards the entire part of your body. Visualize the whole scene. This light is purifying the soul. This light is empowering the soul. This light is transforming the soul from a normal human to a Brahman. And from a Brahman, by giving it all the qualities of purity, I'm able to reach my perfect stage like an angel. So who's an angel? Have you seen angels? We've heard of angels, helpful, cooperative, very loving, yet fully detached. They seem to be a part of this world, but still they seem to be those who don't belong to this place. They come, they help, and they leave. They're like messengers of God. And so today, the Supreme is making me an angel. Transforming me into an angel from a human. With the light of the Lord, I become light and angelic. So look at yourself at one time as a Brahmin, the companion of God. At another time, the angel, who's like the messenger of God, loving and detached with the whole world. And then one time, look at yourself as a deity in the pure new world, who's complete with all virtues and powers and qualities, free from all vices, a deity. Abundance in every way, fully happy. Draw your attention to the Supreme Soul in Paramdham, where your heart is filled with gratitude for these magical moments, for these revelations, and for showing me things, making them so simple. For making me the Brahman, the angel, the deity, things that I would have never ever imagined possible. Just by being in the light of the Supreme, I'm purified and I reach the highest status of a deity. Let's spend a few moments having a deep conversation of gratitude and love with the Supreme. See how the intellect stays with the Supreme. It may be drawn away, yeah, it might go here and there, but then once again, lift the intellect up and allow it to connect to the Supreme and enjoy this feeling of love and power from Him. Bring back your consciousness into this room where you are sitting. But carry with you these 3 points always as we move forward into this wonderful day today. First point, I am a pure soul. Second point, Supreme Soul, Shiv Paramatma, belongs to me. I belong to Him. That's my only possession. And third point is the drama. Understanding it accurately helps me to put a full stop to the past. Whatever has happened is for good. Full stop, and I move forward. Okay, so with that, we can say goodbye.
Thanks a lot, brother, for the wonderful session.
Thank you so much.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow we will introduce the Murli, the versions of the Supreme that were spoken by Himself. And how is that through Brahma? What were those versions that the Supreme spoke? So it's going to be a very beautiful opportunity. So let's look forward to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sister, I think you can get these meditations. There is the recording happening. And Shanmugamba, I can send them to you. I think he has a link, right, brother? You have the YouTube link?
It's the YouTube link, same link which we had earlier. I'll just ping here in a minute. I'm just pinging now. So all the classes are recorded and it's there in this link. You can copy the link. I'm just going to end this session.